Welcome to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Yeah, hey, I like that hat.
Yo,
Where's it been, Coach? Where's the hat been?
Well, it's been right here. That's how I'm getting old. You know, it sits a foot and a half from me. Sorry, Case.
Okay, so we got the laptop plugged in. We got the microphone. We got everything ready to go, right? No phone call. We're not on the phone, so no phone calls, right?
Yeah, my wife's in the next room. She won't call me this time.
Coach, we're crying in her beer tonight, man. The offense, hey, here we are, spoiled Dodgers fans. I am the head of that, right? We're in first place still, half game ahead of the Padres. Still a great record, right? Yep. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
A very great record at 20-11.
Mm-hmm.
The offense has been fantastic for the most part this year, not this series with the Marlins. So my brain's going every which way. I'm wanting to be pissed, but then I'm wanting to be thankful. And I'm just glad I don't have any alcohol in me right now because I don't know what my brain would do in that scenario. So tell me how I should feel right now, Coach.
Well, unfortunately, I do have a little alcohol. I did some yard work, so I went outside. I had a beer. Sorry. I apologize, everybody. But anyway.
Good for you, Coach. You're retired, right?
Pretty good after mowing the lawn and fixing the fence and stuff like that. I'm old, and any type of work like that brings it out of me. But no, it's the same thing, Case. We're spoiled Dodger fans. I have no doubt about it. But you look at these. I
don't mean that insulting. I mean that's me. Yes.
No,
yes.
Not at all. We are who we are, and I don't apologize for it. I know you don't.
Absolutely not.
Here's what I think I texted you earlier today. We could have got swept by these guys if we don't have a hell of a ninth inning rally in the first.
Change that C to an SH, Coach.
Yes.
Should.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, we could have. Should have probably maybe got swept right there. But, of course, I don't want to go to should have because if you do that, then the Blue Jay fans are going, well, you should have lost the World Series, but you didn't.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
I don't want to go with the SH.
That's good.
I'll go with the could have. We could have got swept, but have for a great comeback in the first game of this series. And we had opportunity. You know, we came into the ninth inning the last two games with an opportunity and didn't pan out for us. But, you know, just clutch situations and moving – that's an odd double play. I keep seeing that on social media, the double play at the end. But what the hell? Ohtani's doing what he's supposed to do. You don't run into a tag. He's trying to get away from the damn guy. The ball it's not a bad play, just a unfortunate play for the Dodgers. He's not running to a tag. He's trying to run back to first base. He's doing exactly what he should do. So playing free. I don't want to blow it up on him like he's an idiot. That is not a bad play on his part. If he ran right to the guy, that's a bad play. He didn't. He's trying to get away from him. He didn't have anywhere to go. But, you see it on social media like that's the reason, whatever. You had as you know, Case, we say this all the time.
Well, what do you always tell your runner? Don't run into a tag, right?
Yeah, always. He did run into it. He was trying to get away from the tag. He didn't have where to go.
I'm just saying, whether it was the right play or not, he still was doing what we teach kids to do from the time you're 5. You can't retrain yourself in that moment to not do what you've been taught and coached your whole life, right? I can't say as a coach, don't run into a tag to every player since they were in T-ball and then get mad at Shohei Ohtani because he did exactly that. That's kind of my coaching point there.
No, totally agree, Case. I've coached third base most of my career. There have been some years at first base. Every time, don't run into a tag. That's what you always say to the base runner. Shohei knows what to do. He's trying to avoid the tag. He just ran out of room there. That's not the reason the Dodgers lost. But,
no,
I'm getting tired of sitting on social media like, hey, no, there wasn't a bad play. It was a good play by the Marlins. Let's give them credit. It's a good play by their guy to get the tag and actually get the tag, touch first base. It's a hell of a play by them. Tip your cap. Let's move on. Let's go eat the buffet and then get ready for Friday night. But it's frustrating the last 2 nights, the last 2 days, the nights and a day. But, you had situations. You had a little bit of traffic. But, I guess the most frustrating – Ohtani probably, I think Yamamoto, Ohtani, and actually Glassdown probably all walked more people than they walked all year. And that doesn't mean they're not elite. They're elite. They're great starting pitchers. They still gave you a chance to win. We only give up 3 runs in this game. They still gave you a chance to win, but there's a few more walks in there than they normally do. But the bottom line, I think you mentioned it before, the offense didn't come through, and you give up 3 runs, and you're the LA Dodgers with the lineup you have, you probably should still find a way to score 4. That's just
you think opinion. So. Yeah, but I'll say this, and I'm a little sharper tonight. Sometimes I get that way. That's okay. We're usually pretty positive. I'm a little sharper tonight, and like I said, I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to be a negative cesspool. We're not going to sit here and just waller the whole night. But I'll say this, you don't pay Shohei Ohtani and Tyler Glass now to lose games. So kind of my point to them, if I was their dad, or if I was their coach, or if I'm Dave Roberts, or if I'm Andrew Friedman, I make the same statement you did. Hey, we give up 3 runs, we should win the game. Having said that, okay, if this is Game 7 of the World Series, we have paid you this to win the game. So whatever the game tells you you have to do as a superstar, that's what we have to do. So Tyler Glasnow, you can't walk 6 people.
Right.
Hey, Shohei Ohtani, you were absolutely awesome. You are likely going to be in the running all year long, maybe even the favorite to win the Cy Young. Having said that, if we want to win the World Series and this is Game 7 that you're faced with, although you were great, there were a couple of lapses, especially in that first inning when he picked a guy off at second. And, hey, Coach, when that circus music starts and the ball starts flying, oh, my God. As a coach, sometimes you just go, stop. Stop. Just stop throwing the ball. I mean, even at the major league level, right? Having said that, although he was great, still just on the margins, didn't win the marginal aspects of things, and that's what you pay these guys to do. That would be my very harsh conversation. Is that way too harsh?
Not harsh at all. I mean, and I'll go back. I'll make it a positive case. Exactly what you said is correct for today's game. They won the World Series because they came around on the other side of that.
Yes.
There was tough situations, and Miggy Rowe, God bless him, we'll remember Miggy Rowe forever. It's kind of like Kirk Gibson. We're never going to forget those guys in Dodger lore. They're always going to be there. And Will Smith was a game winner. But I'm just saying, they had the situations there. No, that's not too hard right there. You had opportunities. Dodgers had a little bit of traffic. They didn't get a whole lot of hits. I mean, but what did we struck out today? 13? I looked at the stats a minute ago. Our pitcher struck out maybe 13, something like that. But too many walks. And, again, I'll go back to
7 walks.
If we give up 3 runs, we got a 95%. I don't have that analytics in front of me. I'm not that guy. Maybe Austin's got that. I know the Dodgers.
But with every analytic, there's one I can counter with. Yeah, for every 3 runs, whatever. But with 7 walks still, with runners in scoring position, if you don't hit this amount, there's any analytic you can look at it to evaluate that, right?
No way. Yes. There's a list that long of all the analytics.
Correct.
They have to do that, and it means nothing when it comes right down to me. I'm a hillbilly ball coach. I don't, you know how I am, Case. I look around. You get opportunities. You move runners. You do. You don't walk people. It's old school baseball. These are multi-million-dollar players, and I want to get back to one thing. I know the Marlins are under 500, but they're also second in their division. They just have to be a division that sucks, but they got major league players too. Watching them, they got those guys aren't horrible. It's not like they're, the White Sox team that lost 100 and whatever the hell they lost a few years ago. This team, they're a little bit under 500. They come into Dodger Stadium and win 2 out of 3. So obviously they got major league players, and we know they got a major league manager. We love Clayton McCullough, one of the former Dodger coaches. Yeah. We love that dude, and he's doing good things with. That's a big town with a small market mentality, kind of like Kansas City, where they can win a World Series title, and then they can't pay anybody, so they're all gone. It's the same way Kansas City's gone through. Doubt. Miami's done the same thing in the past. It's been a while, but that's kind of.
And it takes a great manager to organize it.
Yes, absolutely. And Clayton's doing a great job over there. We love him, and we don't love losing 2 out of 3 to him, but we know he's doing good stuff over at that ball club. So don't take anything away from the Marlins. Let's don't get into that mode. The Dodgers are still the best team in baseball, and the Marlins tip their cap, and we move on, take a day off, and spend time with the family tomorrow and get ready to go against the Cardinals on Friday. So
there's a lot of different things in life that are guarantees, like death and taxes and that kind of thing.
Yep.
2 things about today's game, okay, and we're going to hit all the tough points of it, all the negative parts, because part of doing shows like this is why I don't really like to do post-game shows, because I'm still pretty fired up, right? And I don't like to be fired. I like to have some. That's why, honestly, I very rarely talk to my players in post-game. We just kind of went on about our way. We got on the bus. If I wanted to address something that happened in the game, I would do it the next day before we practiced. That way I had almost an entire day to think about it, to be logical, and then also address it right before we actually get to do something about it. I've always felt like post-game conferences actually were just to make the coach feel better. That's kind of what I've always thought. Yep. So that's why I'm a little bit probably sharper today, but I'll say this. Freddie Freeman, I agree with the comment here in the chat. Love the man. He is absolutely awesome. Struggle bus today, no doubt about it. Maybe the worst game in a Dodgers uniform for him. Just hit a fly ball, just strike out, just do something. Although we said Ohtani didn't do anything wrong. Don't hit a ground ball there, right? I mean, tough day for Freddie. Not mad at him whatsoever, just calling it what it is. And that first home run to Liam Hicks from Tyler Glasnow was right down the middle. So, I mean, it's not just the walks, the 6 walks that Tyler Glasnow gave up.
Yep.
It's the fact that because you're not controlling the strike zone and commanding the ball inside the zone, you're getting behind that. Of course, that was a first pitch ambush, but you're putting yourself in a situation to where you're going to give up 2 home runs as well because you're not commanding and they're just sitting on certain pitches.
But it's the same thing, Case, like you talked about. Absolutely correct. And I'll go what you said about those are emotional conversations you have with a ball player right after the game. When I was a coach, we'll go to McDonald's. We'll watch Casey Porter pour a milkshake down the front of his shirt. We're going to go eat and forget about it. If there's something to be addressed, we'll do it the next day. I can even go you one further, Case. When I finally matured, well, I've never matured. Hell, I'm 67 years old. I still hadn't matured. But when I became a principal, I had to quit being a guy who yells all the damn time and be a guy who has kind of under control. It's the same thing. I did not make big decisions on as far as expulsion of a student or some major deal with a student. I do it the next morning. I tell them, come in with your parents. Don't make emotional decisions. Because we're both going to regret something that we said. When I'm pissed off, you're pissed off. It's coming in the next day. I've already got my ducks in a row. Here's the school policies over. It's the same thing you're talking about. Don't make emotional decisions and emotional talk. It's not going to be productive. It'll be productive the next day, exactly like you said. And those discussions go on. Nothing's right after the game, and everybody's still emotional. A lot of times, nothing's really good is going to happen. Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, interesting. Asterio Ruiz, I got to meet him many different times. Got to hang out in the dugout with him. I don't know how many different days last year in Oklahoma City. Awesome dude. Yep. Didn't want to interview because he wasn't quite sure about the language, so I never got him down for an interview. But hey, if you can go back to the receipts of last year's shows, the one thing that I said kept him out of the major leagues in terms of, well, even with the A's when the Dodgers got him, and then with the Dodgers is that he's a really fast guy, but he swings out of his shoes and he swings up at everything. So throwing a 4-seam up in the zone to Asterio Ruiz there's going to be 2 things that's going to happen there. Either he's going to swing and miss because he's swinging up at it and it's going to go over his barrel, or he's going to get to that pitch and he's going to hit a home run, which he exactly did. And I'll also say this, like you said, we root for Clayton McCullough. I will never not root for him.
Right.
If any team has to beat the Dodgers, his team is fine with me, if there's any team. And I also say that for past guys. So, hey, upset the Dodgers lost, no doubt. Happy for Asterio Ruiz that he's in a good situation. And he got the big home run against the Dodgers, a team that really didn't give him a whole big of a chance. Sure. That had to be a cool moment for him.
Well, it's not that they probably didn't give a chance because they didn't have the opportunity.
Right.
The Dodgers are loaded. He's just not going to fit it. Not only loaded on the major league level, Case, you're seeing already we're loaded on the minor league level. Some guys that are ready to make that jump that can't because of the traffic in front of them, a Hall of Fame player or something, or a really good major league player. So, that's exciting for Ruiz to get that in Dodger Stadium, like you said, and for Clayton to come in there and win 2 out of 3. That's great for the Marlins. I'm not a Marlin fan, but I'm a Clayton McCullough fan, surely an Asterio Ruiz fan, at least much like you are. So good for those guys. And, we talked about this last time we're together. This is, you don't have to anybody to explain this to you. It's hard to be good at this sport. And the guys that have done it for so long, it's even more amazing. The Freddies and all that have had consistency during their entire career. Or, heaven forbid, Cal Ripken plays at 3,000 games in a row without freaking sitting out. But, whatever. But I'm just saying that mental toughness there, it's great to see that young people can come through that. The Dodgers didn't give him a great chance, neither the A's, and now here he is, got an opportunity. And Clayton McCullough is getting his opportunity as a manager. And you don't know what his future holds for you because, you never know. And, a few years ago, the Dodger fans were ready to fire Dave Roberts. Now we got a Hall of Fame manager who's won 3 World Series and working on number 4 and 5 and whatever in the next few years. So, things can change for those guys, managers and players. And it's great to see these guys because it is so tough. I haven't been there, so I'm not speaking from experience. I'm speaking from experience of a baseball part of it. I know it's tough to be good in high school American Legion baseball. It's hard to be good on that level. I can only imagine how hard it is to be good on the major league level. Talking
about good, the bullpen was perfect yesterday. And I'm going to go ahead and defend Will Klein, and not just because I like the guy. And I've been talking, about how I thought he was going to springboard this year. The World Series, we've talked about that many different times, how he's going to springboard his World Series greatness of last year into a good year this year, and he has. Yep. And I'll say this, that sweeper he threw to Sonoja, the game-winning hit there in the 8th inning, that was a great pitch, man. Just give Sonoja credit. He went and got that thing. So I have got no problems with, I'm telling you, if I'm Dave Roberts, if I'm Andrew Friedman, whoever I am, or even whoever it may be, I'm like, okay, sometimes you tip your cap. It's a great pitch. It's a sweeper down and away. Yep. The guy just went and got it, and he dumped a ball, for a base hit for the go-ahead run. To me, that goes into the it's baseball category. Yep.
Well, I go back in case a guy that me and you both love that we know very well is Gary Ward, the great college baseball coach at Oklahoma State. He used to always call it scoreboard pressure. It's the same thing. If the Dodgers are up 8-3, he throws that damn pitch. Somebody gives a damn. You'll never hear a word about it. It's a good pitch that give the guy credit. He got a base hit on a good pitch. It's baseball. It happens. Stuff happens like that. The best laid plans. That's why this is the greatest game in the world. I'll say it because I'm a baseball guy. I know you are too, and most of our dogs are too. Because you're determined by how you handle failure. It's not. It's easy when things are going good. People patting you on the back, but handling failure in this game is what determines how successful you're going to be. And there's no other sport like it. No other sport anywhere like it. And that's what is amazing about it. And it's great to see, when people come through in those situations.
So a couple of things about the 9th inning. Okay. Of course, you get the leadoff walk by Alex Call. And here's my rule of thumb. Let's see if you agree with this. So I always go for the tie at home and the win on the road. So in other words, if the runner's at first base and I'm down by 1 and I'm the visiting team, I don't bunt there because I don't bunt to tie the game. I only bunt that guy to second if that run wins the game for me. So, But being at home, I do bunt that guy to second to tie the game because being tied at home, you have the last at bat, right? So I like the bunt there by Alex Freeland, and I'll also say this: Alex Call is a wonderful baseball player. He looks like a Milwaukee Brewer or a Toronto Blue Jay or a Miami Marlin. That style of bat to ball type of guy. I love watching that guy play. Had another good game today. Had a base hit, drew a huge leadoff walk in the 9th. And I love the walk from Hassan Kim. And the reason why, process meaning results. Yep. That pitch up in the zone is the one that he struggles with. That's where they tried to get Hassan Kim out, and he laid off of it. He didn't go after it, and because of it, he passed it down the line. How many times are you going to have 2 walks at the bottom of your lineup to turn it over to Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and not at least tie that game? I mean, come on, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And it's not just today, Case. I mean, the bottom order has been nails the entire year. I mean, yes, those guys down there, I mean, since Kim's come back up, he's been amazing. Dalton Rushing, when he was hitting down there, was amazing. It goes without saying, Pajes was hitting down there. He's hitting 480 at one point or whatever the hell he was hitting early in the year. So the bottom of the order has been amazing for the Dodgers to put you in that situation. I'm the same way. I'll be honest. I'm out mowing the yard. I got my earbuds in. I'm listening to Steven and Jessica Mendoza.
Mendoza.
Yeah, Mendoza. I'm listening to Steven and Jessica, and 2 walks at the beginning. I thought, we're going to win this baby. Well, hell, they do what they're supposed to do. I guess we got a bunt down, so we moved them over, and they did what they're supposed to do. They walked Shohei. They're like, okay, well, this is easy. We got a base open. We're going to set up a double play. It's a good play by Clayton. It's what I would do. It's what you would do. I'm not going to pitch a Shohei.
Again, he's going for the win on the road, Coach.
Yeah, exactly. Because the winning run's a second. I mean,
Dodgers were going for the tie.
Yep.
And the Marlins were going for the win. Tie at home, win on the road.
Absolutely. I'm walking. That's a no-brainer. That's an easy one. Shohei, there's first base. It's empty. Get your ass over there. I mean, that's a great play by them. And it just turned out unfortunate for the Dodgers that not only hitting a ground ball into a double play, but where you hit it, we had no chance of getting out of it. Shohei tried. There's no way he was going to get away from that, from getting a tag.
Yeah, that's on Freddie. I mean, it's 100%.
Yes, absolutely. But, the Dodgers, again, had an opportunity, with the first two guys getting on via walk, and we got a bunt down. Your American Legion, Little League, high school, moving the guy over, and they did exactly what they should do. I'm not pitching it. Hell, nobody in the world is going to pitch Shohei Ohtani unless you're an idiot right there with the base open. And the winning run's a second. Shohei's run means nothing.
So people would say don't bunt because they're going to walk. So I'll take Freddie Freeman all day, twice on Sundays.
That's the other part about the Dodgers. When they had Mookie, you could go ahead and walk Shohei, but then you got two Hall of Famers right behind him. It's the same damn thing. I remember years ago, I loved, of course, back in the days, you could watch Atlanta and Chicago every freaking day, Yeah. I'm a baseball freak. I'm a Dodger fan, but I watched every one of those games. I remember Don Zimmer. You could actually see him read his lips, looking in the stands, going,
Popeye.
Yes, I bunt. And they walk, Andre Dawson, you dumbass. I mean, you can read his lips. He's telling that to a fan, who's like, you butt him over, you dumbass. I butt him over. They're going to walk Andre Dawson. Exactly.
Yeah. Then we're getting to Jody Davis, and the game's over.
Yeah, that's not Freddie Freeman behind the game, because Jody Davis is not Freddie Freeman. That's the whole point right there. When you got a cat like that, and I always love Popeye Zimmer. He's a Dodger back in the day, man. Dodger second baseman a million years ago. One of the great baseball men of all time. So, but I always remember that he's looking at the guy and you can read his lips. Shut the hell up. I'd bunt him over. They're going to walk Andre. We're not doing that shit. So, that's what baseball, that's a beautiful part about it. That hadn't changed. That's 30 years ago, Case. Hell, I was probably coaching Legion with you down there playing third for me.
Some things will never change.
Nothing's changed. Nothing has freaking changed. They're going to walk Shohei Ohtani. They're going to take their chances. Double play ends the game. That's what they got.
It is. And it happens. It's baseball, right? Against an absolutely incredible player and a guy that had a tough day, whatever. I mean, we're going to move on from that.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt about that. The Dodgers, specifically Freddie Freeman, grounded at 2 double plays, right? Yep. And the Dodgers only have 2 hits with runners in scoring position. I mean, when you grounded the same amount of double plays as you have hits with runners in scoring position, I mean, there's 11 guys left on base and runners in scoring position today. That's not an incredibly large amount, but that's also not like, well, the Dodgers just didn't do anything today. I mean, there was 11 guys with runners in scoring position. The Dodgers went 2 for 11. That's the game right there, Coach. Hey, we always say it, pitching, defense, and timely hitting.
Yep.
Okay. If there was ever a series that would define that, as you mentioned, some things never change in baseball.
Yep.
Pitching, defense, and timely hitting, that will always forever be a winning formula. It doesn't matter if it's the Dodgers with the highest payroll in the game versus the Marlins, which may have the lowest payroll in the game. Pitching, defense, timely hitting, whoever follows that formula. Now, the Dodgers could go off and beat that formula. The Marlins can't, but the Marlins have to win like that, and they did. I enjoyed their aspect of it, to be honest with you.
That's baseball. You're right, Case. I mean, they're moving runners. They're not trying to hit home runs. It's the same thing. It does not change. That formula has not changed in baseball. You're fundamentally sound. You're moving runners. No, what they did exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And I can remember saying years ago to players, probably said it to you, anybody can get a damn hit when there's no pressure on them. That's not exactly true. I've probably said it to you in several situations. I've said it to players
2 outs, nobody on.
Years I was coaching. To me, is always the guy gets up there, he's down 0-2, whatever the clutch situation of the game, he's facing a dude on the mound, and that guy gets a base hit. That's pressure. That's coming through in the clutch. When we're up 10-0 and you get a couple of knocks, it's great. Clap their hands. Hey, great job. Your batting average goes up. But the key is, it's more impressive when you get one in a clutch situation, a tough situation, you get those base hits. So, and that's what the Dodgers weren't able to do today. But it's not actually correct. I always said it because I'm an old hillbilly ball coach. Hey, anybody can get a hit when there's no pressure on you. That's not necessarily true, but I used to always say that. Show me we can get a hit when there is pressure. We're behind. It's late innings. They got their dude on the mound.
Yeah.
Hell, it's 20 degrees in springtime in Oklahoma. It may be 60 when we started the game. It'd be 25. The end was sleet falling. That's what I'm talking about. That's toughness. That's mental toughness to come through and try to perform in a situation right there. That has not changed, Case. That's high school at Guthrie and Stillwater, Oklahoma, American Legion, all the way to the major leagues.
Another thing we always say is, hey, solo home runs aren't going to beat you. Oops. Well, when your offense isn't scoring like today, 2 solo home runs that Tyler Glass now gave up. Hey, and I'll say this, okay? Yesterday, Dalton Rushing DHs for Shohei Ohtani when Shohei Ohtani pitches, right?
Yep.
And goes 0 for, like 0 for, I think it was 0 for 4. Today, Shohei Ohtani goes 0 for, right? So, I mean, it's very difficult when the top of your line. We talk about how great the bottom of this lineup has been, and I know Joe Davis actually the other day kind of joked the meat of the lineup's coming up, and he was talking about the 7, 8, 9. He was being one of those being funny but not, right? I mean, seriously,
right.
these guys have acted like the meat of the lineup more than the meat of the lineup to this point. Having said that, okay, Jay brings up a great point. The Dodgers keep getting behind. They've been able to come back. That's because they're good enough. They're not going to be there. Hey, baseball, the odds work themselves out. The Dodgers are not going to be able to come back from these deficits. They're not going to do the 9th inning like they did in game 1 of Miami very often. As good as the Dodgers are. So what we're saw in this series is, as great as the bottom of the lineup is, Alex Call was good today. He got a walk and a hit. Alex Freeland got a bunt down, not at the bottom lineup, but Dalton Rushing had a good day today. As good as they've been, if the Dodgers front top of their lineup, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, put Kyle Tucker there, eventually Mookie Betts, if they don't start hitting like they're supposed to, then no matter how good the bottom lineup is, this offense still isn't going to be what it's supposed to be.
No, there's a reason why those guys are getting, big time money. Ohtani's getting $700 million. I mean, we need you to hit, above 240. I know he's at 270 or something now, whatever, because he had a big day the other day. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's great. We sit there and we clap for the 7, 8, 9 hole guys who are doing their job. Blah blah blah. It doesn't mean anything if the top is not driving them in. You can be table setter, but it doesn't matter if you're LOB when the inning's over. You're still out on base, and you're absolutely correct. If the top of the order doesn't do what they're supposed to do, quote unquote, paid to do, the Dodgers are going to struggle at that point right there. And I get tired of it. I won't go off on that again, Case, about hearing about how much the money the Dodgers pay. They're head on the trophy. It doesn't. It's us, me and you, and all these Dodger dogs on here. Dave, everybody
puts a bullseye on your back.
Yeah, Dodger. It's even more so now. They were running baseball. Now, you got a bullseye on your back. It's a Super Bowl every time the Dodgers roll into town. All of our fans are walking down and, hey, let's go Dodgers. I love that in Boston last year, by the way. I was sitting there having a beer and a hamburger, me and Rex, and here come the Dodger fans. Let's go. And it's awesome. But anyway, they do that in every town. So you have that, but it doesn't win games. You win games by what's always won games. Moving runners, you pitching. The pitching has been so good. Like you say, I mean, we're sitting here bitching them on. We're not really bitching them on.
We're just talking, Coach.
No, I've seen me and you be a lot worse than this.
We're just talking with an edge. That's all we're doing. We're not complaining about anything.
We give up 3 runs.
We love Freddie. We love Tyler. We love Show. I mean, yeah, right.
They're those guys are still going to the Hall of Fame. It didn't make a shift. He hits into 2 double plays.
I mean, it's April 29th. You can't get too mad, right?
He's a Hall of Fame person too. And he's a Hall of Fame father from all accounts. Anyway, whatever. More important stuff. But anyway. We're just talking. And why you lose those games right there? We get back to the same thing. The other team has major league players too. I mean, they got major league players. They got a big, a manager who's just starting his career as a manager, but we know where he comes from, and he's by all accounts doing a good job. So, there's nothing given in this. I mean, you look around. I mean, we're getting ready to play the Cardinals. That whole damn. I mean, you were talking off the air. The whole damn division there's got a winning record in the Central. There's some good ball clubs right there. We got Cubs, Cardinals, and Cincinnati is in that group, I guess. Yeah. There's some quality baseball right there. So, hell, it's what everybody says. Hell, if it's not worth it. If it's going to be easy, it's not going to be worth it. Nothing has been easy for the Dodgers. I get tired of that crap. You know what? Here I go again.
Well, they've had easy years with the NOS, and they didn't win the playoffs.
Yeah, hell, we got beat the first round last time. We won there. I'll go back to won the division by 14 games and got our ass beat the first round.
Don't forget the Brewers in the Central too, Coach. They're 15-13.
That's what I'm talking about. That division.
Every team in the Central has a winning record.
Yeah, that's what I said. That whole division right there is loaded. So get you some of that. Nothing's easy. It's never going to be easy. Just hand the Dodgers the damn trophy. It doesn't work that way. The Blue Jays were great last year in the playoffs. They played great. The Dodgers had to come up with clutch situations. We're talking about runners in scoring position. Last year, the Dodgers were, I think, number one in the league at one time for most of the year.
And two out, the two out runs and all that.
Scoring position.
Dodgers lead the league in comeback wins this year, which is a good and a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing, but the bad thing is that you're behind a lot. But anyway, the good thing is you're good. The good thing is you're good enough to come back. And the last time we were together, we talked about the bullpen's the key. The bullpen's always going to be the key to those comeback wins. Don't kid yourself right there. If your bullpen's not doing the job, you ain't coming back from anything.
Well, Coach, how'd the Marlins bullpen do today? They covered 3 innings right after Sandy Alcantara came out. Zeros. Yeah. So, I mean.
They lost their closer the first night, didn't they?
Yeah.
Closer out, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I believe, So, I mean, if they give up 1 run, how do you say that guy's name? Fosher or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, if they first save of the year, right? Okay. So, I mean, that goes to your point that it was a battle of the bullpens at some point. I'm not going to criticize Will Klein because he made a really good pitch that just got hit. I mean, and that happens. I'm just telling you, that happens. If you've ever been in any kind of competitive moment and you call a pitch and the guy executes it and it doesn't work, that goes back to your Gary Ward conversation you have. Okay, I'm going to put my arm around that guy. I'm going to hug the guy. I'm going to tell him I love him. Say, hey, that's baseball. We're going to go to Dairy Queen. We're going to have a blizzard. We're going to spill it all over the front of our shirt, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to move on to tomorrow. That's what's going to happen in that situation. I mean, I know that may say powder puff, but literally that's how you deal with a 6-month season and the ebbs and flows of things. You have to know when things were done right, but it just didn't work in this game.
No, I can't believe I've never been a major league manager or coach, but I can't believe it's not the same damn way. Only difference is Beverly Porter's not washing their damn uniform. You got a clubhouse boy over there doing that shit.
So if you hit like 100-mile-an-hour line drive, but it's right at the right fielder and he catches it, are you pissed at the guy?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. That's the same theory here.
That's the amazing part. Us who love baseball, when you go to when you see a major league game live, TV doesn't do it justice. How many freaking balls are smoked? Case when you're in the stadium watching, even on the AAA and AA level, how many balls you see that are smoked? They're right at a guy. Guy makes a hell of a play. Shut the hell up.
Next guy hits a duck fart.
Exactly. The guy gets a parachute out there behind first base and right field. And next thing you know, you're winning state, and we're celebrating over at Terry Porter's house. But anyway, the point.
Tommy Varner's. Jumping on the trampoline, listening to New Kids on the Block in our boom box, and we have about 4 of them over. Yeah. Hanging Tough. We're blasting Hanging Tough on repeat, right?
You got to, man.
Yeah.
And that's a great memory because of a accomplishment by a bunch of guys who overcame a lot when they needed to. Clutch situations. I could go on forever about your ball club. Same thing, but that's a great thing. It's 1989 case. Now we're talking about 2025, what the Dodgers did against, say, the Blue Jays. I mean, the baseball, that's the beautiful part about it. I know the analytics, Austin's the best I've ever seen. Austin ought to be working for a major league team.
He should.
Analytics department. We love Austin being a Dodger dog. Don't go anywhere, Austin. I'm not kidding you. And now Coach Barakoff's down here at Enid, Oklahoma with us. But anyway, I'm just saying, that stuff's great. The numbers, the analytics, but it comes back to the same old crap how you win baseball games. It's never changed from the major league level down. That's a great thing about it. Mentality, being able to deal with failure. That determines what you do.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree, especially in this game, 100%.
Yep.
Okay, so all of the guys that are we have this comment in the chat. Okay. Wonderful comment. Again, just another example of how the Dodgers community, not very big. The crowds haven't been quite as big lately. That's fine. There's way more Dodgers shows out there. Whatever. We're going to be here. We're going to talk our Dodgers baseball, and we're going to have a hell of a good time, whatever crowd we get. Okay? So this was said in the chat, another example of how intelligent the Dodgers community is. the guys that are competing for at-bats are the ones that are actually performing the best. Yes, Sung Kim at times, Alex Freeland, Alex Call, Dalton Rushing. Those guys are hungry, Coach. That is fun to watch. And as Jay said in the chat, to me, one thing I was worried about coming into this season was that the Dodgers were going to be so good. I actually was going to be quite disinterested in watching because it was going to be like shooting fish in a barrel, if you will. And it's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to get excited about today? It's Groundhog Day. The Dodgers are going to kick the crap out of the team they're playing. And yes, it's fun to win, but to what extent? I mean, so kind of some of the struggles and just being a little bit more mortal, to me, keeps me a little bit more engaged, which is why I always say I don't think it's a bad thing that the Padres are nipping at the heels.
Sure.
And that the NL West is good. So I say that to say the guys that are hungry, that are fighting for spots, I don't think that's a coincidence that they're the ones performing.
There's no doubt about it, Case. I mean, we'll go back to, I'll even look at the team aspect. We've talked about this in past years, when the Dodgers won the first World Series in 24. That was a struggle the entire year. They lost the entire starting rotation. It was a battle right down to the end. They had to play their ass off just to make there's one point, I think maybe even last year we talked about, they may not even make the damn playoffs.
Yeah.
They were struggling. And that's stupid to even say, but at some point you're looking at that. So it's the same concept. Those teams had to battle through toughness. It wasn't easy. They're hurt. They're playing good. They're playing great teams. You're playing well. Same thing what you're seeing by the bottom of the order. These guys are fighting for their professional life. They've got a chance to set themselves and their family up for life with a Major League Baseball career. And the retirement that goes into that, we could go on forever about that. But those guys are fighting on every pitch. They don't want to go back to Oklahoma City. Me and you love OKC. We all love OKC. We love our Thunder. We love Bricktown, the whole shoot match. But L.A. is L.A. This is a Major League. This is where the best team, best organization in professional baseball, one of the best in the world, next to my Cowboys, who can't beat anybody, but they got a great organization. But anyway, the point being, those guys are battling for everything, every minute, every day. That's why they're working. We talked about this last time. Those guys put in that extra time. Freddie's putting in extra time, but he's pretty well sure that Freddie's going to be in the big leagues. That's not the case with Alex Call and, Dalton Rushing and all these guys. Yes, they're doing great, and they're going to be there. Hassan Kim's already been sent down at the start of the year. I mean, Freeland, these guys are battling their guts out to stay. This is their life. This isn't just their livelihood now. This is their life from now on, and that's why the hunger they have, not that the other guys don't have it, but that's a great comment by our Dodger dog here. We got the best. I don't give a damn if there's only 5 of them out there. They're the best in the world, and we love you guys, and thanks for commenting. That's a great comment. Yes, those guys are having a battle, and I have no doubt in my mind that's how the Dodgers won at 24, because it was a struggle the entire year. They battled their guts out. It's the same way last year to come down to it. I mean, everybody can say the Blue Jays, they may have outplayed them, but you know what? They didn't win the damn thing. That's all that matters, the bottom line. So,
yeah, so analytics, hey, Austin obviously is fantastic at it. You're way less on the other end. You're a little older than I am, right? That's fine. Yeah. I'm kind of in the middle. I like both of them. I can use them.
You send me that, so I got the. Anyway, go ahead.
Did you print it off? That's cool. Yeah,
big time, man.
That's the show notes right there. By the way, that's how much time we put into preparing for these shows. So
you put time in. I'll just show up and have a couple of cold ones and try to talk baseball. Go ahead,
Coach. I'm just going to tell you, though. Just going to tell you. You may not believe this, but you have been using analytics basically in the same way as all these guys have forever. Every time you tell a guy, hey, just keep hitting the ball hard, the odds will play themselves out.
Absolutely.
Well, you're using analytics, Coach. That's all analytics are, right?
Yep.
So I say that to say, whether you're into the OPSs and the WOBAs and all that, whether you're into any of that or whether you're just kind of into, the ERAs and the batting averages or whatever it may be, I think we can all say that if the Dodgers continue to put guys on base, which they're doing, the offense isn't scoring, but what you would tell a team in a post-game conference whenever you're talking to them right now is, hey, I know we were 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. I know we haven't scored a whole lot lately, but what I'm telling you as a coach is if we continue to get guys on base like we have been doing, that will all change. The odds of the game will reverse itself. They'll work themselves out. So, hey, guys, let's just continue to have quality at bats, continue to put guys on base, and the process will take over and the odds will even out. That's what a manager would tell. I'm telling you, that's what Dave Roberts is telling his guys. That's the statement I'm making right now.
I totally agree, Case. I mean, it's 2 games we lost the Marlins out of 162, regular season games. You're absolutely correct. Hey, just keep getting guys on. I've had guys in slumps that I coached. You have too. Just keep. I've had guys that go 0 for 30, and hell, they're squaring 28 of them are line shots. It just happens. Matt Devlin is the best. Yes. Matt Devlin was a great example of that, and you knew exactly what I was talking about. But I have other guys that do that. All you tell them is keep doing what you do. The Dodgers keep getting runners on. We're doing things the right way. Our bullpens, our starters have been immaculate. The bullpen's been great. We're getting runners on base. It's not like we got a whole shitload of problems here. We're still 20 and 11, 21, 20 and 12, whatever the hell we are. It doesn't matter. We're in first place, and we're going to be. We're always going to be where we need to be. Just continue to do what you're doing, and if I'm in the clubhouse, I know they probably don't do their post-game speeches like we used to. Maybe they do. Hell, I don't know what they do. They probably go and get something to eat and put their suits on and do their interviews and move on. But I don't know. But at some point, I promise you said it. Dave Roberts is making those same comments. Yeah. The hitting coach is talking to his hitters the same way. The pitching coaches are down there talking to their guys the same way. Keep doing this. This is fine. Don't worry about it. Keep doing this. If there is a problem, they're going to tell them that too. Okay, we need to be better here. But here's what we're doing. This is the beauty of this game. It's the beauty of this game, and it's a game that me and you love, and millions and millions of other people do. That's why it's the best game in the world, because there is so much into it, and there's nothing given. There's nothing guaranteed ever. Every pitch. That's why you always tell players, we go to the next pitch. I don't give a damn what the last pitch was. I don't care if it went 450 feet. I'm worried about the next pitch, and that's what you got to worry about. And it's the same way on a major league level, and that's why we love it. That's why we love our Dodgers, and they're still poised to make their run for a three-peat, and to hell with it. It ain't got anything to do with money. I'll say it again. It has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with the organization, good players, good management, good front office. Everybody doing their thing is why the Dodgers win. Great to have money. There's some other teams spend some money, ain't doing shit, so I'll just say that.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. And B.L. Boyd makes a great point. Hey, these games – all games out of 162 count the exactly as one game. So you definitely don't want to give games away like this. But sure. I don't see this as the Dodgers giving games away. I see this as them getting guys on base and just not delivering with guys on base. I just see that as the ebbs and flow of baseball that you can't get away from, right? I mean, you're not going to get away from the ebbs and flows of baseball. I don't see this as the Dodgers giving these games away. I just see it as this being part of that in terms of a 6-month season. That's where I'm at on that. And then the other thing, usually guys, coaches or people or baseball people, whatever, that don't like bunting because they don't like giving up an out. They also don't like 2-strike approaches because they feel like you're giving up a strike. And hitting is so hard that if you're giving up one of the 3 strikes that you get, to sell out to not maximizing hard contact, with hard contact giving you the best chance of getting a hit, then they feel like you're actually reducing your chances of getting hit. I'll give you the perfect case scenario. Oklahoma State, which we follow, they strike out more than any other team in the Big 12. It's not even close. They strike out way too much. But having said that, also like 70% of their home runs this year have come with 2 strikes. So it's like, okay, well, if I dedicate to a 2-strike approach, then I'm losing the home runs, and am I actually gaining here? So curious your thoughts. I'm not real big on a 2-strike approach unless you're just excessively striking out and you just have to do something to correct the excessiveness of it. But where do you come down on that?
I'm less big on quote unquote on strikeouts. But yes, I'm old. I'm just telling you, I'm a lot older than you. I'm a lot of back in the day, not only to us, the major league level, strikeouts were no. Nobody gives a shit about that anymore, and that's fine. The game's changed. I'm adjusting to it because I'm not coaching, first of all. But I totally agree. The 2-strike approach. I don't know that Shohei probably don't need to have a 2-strike. I totally agree with you there. There's certain guys a lot of needed. Kim needs a two-strike approach. I mean, the guys that you need on base that are going to slap the ball. How about the whole freaking Marlins team? Really? I mean, they had a couple solo homers, but their guys are going to put the ball in play. They're not going to do a two-strike approach because they look at you like you're an idiot. I'm a multi-million-dollar ball player. I'm not going to do two-strike approach. It's kind of like bunting, except case what we say every year, except when you're trying to win. Now you're bunting the damn ball. The Dodgers trying to win a game today. They laid down a bunt. They're not going to do it a lot in the regular season, but I promise you they'll do it in the postseason like everybody else. So, two-strike approach. I enjoy it in high school because it's not a big home run game in Oklahoma high school. Gary Gardner had a team here at Stillwater hit 90 home runs. I never had one of those teams. We want to move runners around. A lot of guys on the team, you want to have two-strike approaches because you want them on base. You want an opportunity. What I didn't like is the freaking strikeouts because we have no shot. But I know that things have changed. That's just Coach Holt from 100 years ago talking that the strikeouts piss me off. They still do. They did then. They do now because, especially if you get a two-strike approach and you're trying to, whatever, you may put the ball in play. It may look like shit, maybe a 14 hopper to second base, but at least you're putting pressure on the defense. It's kind of like when a guy's showing a bunt and all of a sudden the infield comes in. Okay, you may or may not bunt, but all of a sudden now your batting average has gone up because these buttholes have come in on the infield. So now that your holes are bigger. So there's a lot of ways to look, and there's a lot of ways to win and lose baseball. Again, I'm not a major league manager. Never was, never will be, never could be. But I am a baseball guy who loves to move runners and get guys on and hell with strikeouts.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on the lowdown. What are your thoughts on Kyle Tucker? He's starting to hit the ball a little bit harder. Yeah. He had the big walk-off the other night. He had a hit today. Your thoughts on Kyle Tucker?
I thought same thing the last time we were together, Case. I think he's too good to put him in the Conforto category. He's a much better player than Conforto. I hope at the end of the year we're not sitting there going, shit, this will end up being the same thing. But he's too talented, too good. He gives you not only does he give you tons in the outfield defensively, but he's too good a player, I think, to be there. And again, I think he has the opportunity because he's not the guy. Right now, with Mookie's hurt, and whatever, we got some guys struggling, so he may be having to. You're looking more to him to produce some more. We want him to produce. We paid him a lot of money to produce. He's been a producer in his career. I like what I'm seeing now, Case. I think it didn't look like it's going the other way. I'd be more concerned if I'm saying, he started out kind of saying, hell, it's getting worse. I don't think he's getting worse. So I think, with his talent, his ability, the fact he's showing some coming around, and again, he's in a totally new environment with the world champions. Hell, he's with the world champions, and you have to. We paid you some money, a lot of money to produce. So we'll see how it goes mentally. I don't know the young man. I know he's been good his entire career, and I know he didn't have quite the year last year with the Cubs that he'd had previously, but he's got a lot of things going for him, and you're seeing better. You mentioned it. You've seen him a little bit better here in the last couple of weeks of the things he's able to do. And I don't know the story. Hell, maybe he's got a little minor injury we don't know about. Hell, there's so much stuff that we don't know. But all I know is the guy's got a lot of talent. I'm glad he's on our team. And I'd really be shocked if he don't come around and be a big cog in that lineup.
Okay, let's do this before we end on the positive here.
Okay.
What are you the most concerned about with this team? Of course, again, it's April 29th, and again, sure, every game counts the same, but still it is April 29th. There's a lot of time where you can make up for, right? So what are you the most concerned about right now on April 29th?
Well, right now, April 29th, the production out of our big guys. I'll just say it. They're Hall of Fame players. They're great players, and they're the reason why we're going to win. The big scheme of things are probably the reason why we win another World Series. But right now, on April 29th, we're struggling up there. Mookie's hurt. He's not even in the lineup. We hope to get him back at some point, and hopefully he's healthy when he gets back. But we're struggling some with our quote-unquote dudes. And we've mentioned this earlier in the show. The bottom of the order is doing great, but that's all well and good till our guys start hitting. So as of today, you can't really say starting pitching has been outstanding. Relief, even though we've had some things go on there injury-wise, losing our closer has been really good to give the Dodgers opportunities. The runners in scoring position, the two-out hits, they've been good at that in the past. I'm not going to read too much into that right now. The biggest concern to me, you don't want to sit there and go, are these guys finally showing their age? I don't think we're at that point, but that's my biggest concern is the production out of our big guys right now. And in hell case, Next week, I may say, "Shut up, old hillbilly ball coach. You know what the hell you're talking about? We're rolling again." So, but that's my concern today. Yes.
Okay, so let's end on this. And what things maybe, use your 50 years in the coaching ranks, your administration duties that you've had to do. You've been a decision maker for a long, long time. You've been in the game of baseball for a long time. So what parts are you seeing about this team that maybe the average fan is like, oh my gosh, I can't, this, that. You just the knee-jerk reaction that you're just kind of sitting back there on your lawnmower drinking a beer, not worried about whatsoever.
Yeah. Again, what I just said, there's my biggest concern today. I'm not really going to lose too much sleep over it unless me and you're sitting here talking on July 15th and we got our dudes hitting in the 240 range and not produce, that'll be a thing. As of April 29th, that's an issue. But looking back on trying to keep a level head about things, obviously you hope the starting pitch and the bullpen continues to do what they're doing, and you hope the bottom of the order. I know Pages has cooled off. I mean, we're going to hit 470. Hell, we do that. Ted Williams died.
Pages is going to go on a month or two long slump. End of discussion. He always does it. We've told you it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Then he makes the greatest play in the outfield in Dodger history, maybe. So, that's what I'm saying. He's our guy. We're not going to lose him. But sitting back as a guy just trying to be, level-headed, I think you feel good about the starters. Here's the other part. We're fixing to get Snell back. The starting pitch ain't going away. If nothing else, one of those guys may have to go to the bullpen, which makes your bullpen better.
If Snell is actually better than the guy he replaces –
Well,
if that guy's Justin Robleski, I can't guarantee that.
Well, right now it ain't Robo. Somebody else is going.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If Robo's the one guy out, I'm not sure you're better with Blake Snell. I mean, you can't get much better than Robo, right?
Well, what I would say right now is I'm not going to say the S word, but that's who would go to the bullpen. But that's just me. That's a guy sitting in Oklahoma and just got through mowing and doing fits shit and having a cold.
But let me ask you this: you know how it is to get old. You're already old, right?
Okay. Yeah, I've been old for a long time.
Okay. Is there a concern that just kind of slowly creeping up with all the – here's the one variable that just never gets enough credit. The Dodgers have played – like Freddie Freeman, it's great to come to the Dodgers because you win World Series, but as you age, you played so many more games in the postseason. I mean, like he's probably played 100 more games than another guy on another team that doesn't – like if you played for the Padres or whatever, I'll stick it in a little bit to the Padres there. Yeah. So there's a double whammy here. You're playing more games, which means also the longer you go in the postseason, the shorter the off season, right? And then you're a little bit older. And so it's kind of like you just, you don't just wake up one day and you go, man, I'm all of a sudden old, right? It creeps up on you. Yeah. It creeps up on you. Then one day you do kind of do something and you're like, man, I can't quite do this the way that I used to do it. So are we kind of in that? I mean, are you worried about, we're seeing Mookie Betts getting injured, Freddie Freeman's hitting 257, Will Smith's not getting older, but he has caught a lot more than he had 3 or 4 years ago, right? And that's kind of catching up to him. So it's maybe the biggest concern that this club is aging a little bit, and that's part of, some of the inconsistencies.
I worry more about, you mentioned the injuries. You're seeing more injuries popping up. And as you mentioned, Mookie and Freddie are probably the ones that you see more injuries popping up on. Shohei has been good out, since his Tommy John, whatever, but hadn't showed a lot of injuries. But that is a concern. And that you're right, Case. That's something all of a sudden you wake up one day and you go, it doesn't feel the same today, and that sort of thing. So, I think that we talked about this in past shows. That's why it's great to see the rushings, the calls, these guys, and the guys we got. We got some.
And the organization has acknowledged they need to do better at making this team younger. I've been very happy about that.
Well, we got guys in Tulsa. Our number one prospects in Tulsa, DePaulo, in Oklahoma City. So we've got the guys. Are they going to get their opportunity? We got some guys this year are getting an opportunity. Rushing's up there all the time, and now so. You have to start filtering in some of these young guys as you go. You got Hall of Famers there, but you got to. It's like now with Will Smith. He's not an old man, but he plays the toughest position in baseball. He handles every freaking pitch. And
he's older than Dalton Rushing.
That's what I mean. He's crouching down all the freaking time. There's no doubt that catching takes more out of you than any other position. That's why you see a lot of guys move to other positions as he got older. But so you're going to see a little bit more of the wheel coming on because he's that good that he's going to take a beating back there. It's kind of like a lot of wide receivers in the NFL. Yeah, they're good. They're 190 pounds, but they're getting a shit knocked out of them. Most of the days coming across the middle. So things do catch up with you. Age does catch up there. But, I mean, LeBron, call him what you want. I still got Jordan number one. I'm just a guy who, whatever. But, LeBron's the top 2 or 3 players in the history of basketball. But he's showing his age some now. Of course, he's 41. That's the other part. He's taking it to another level that nobody else has, So, who knows? Maybe Freddie still played at age 41. I don't know. Was he 35, 36 now? Whatever the hell he is. But, who knows that type of deal. So, that is a concern. I got big concern. I mentioned it a while ago with our top of the line, our top guys, our Hall of Famers. Things they're not producing. You've got some injuries, and you've had some injuries in the past. Right now I think Freddie's healthy. Hell, I don't know. I'm not in the training room. He might be beat to hell as far as I know, but he's a tough guy. He's always been a tough guy. He's going to show up and play every day unless he just can't walk. We know that for a fact. And we talk about Mookie's oblique. That's going to go on for a while. And thank God Kim has played pretty well there, and the Dodgers are able to overcome some of that. But very sure what you said there, injuries for these older players are going to start becoming an issue.
And it's like Jay's saying, the hedge against that was going and signing Kyle Tucker. That he was supposed to be the hedge there because you're adding another Freddie Freeman Hall of Fame type of bat. Now, I'm not saying that Kyle Tucker's a Hall of Fame player, but
when we saw Mookie, same thing.
Yeah, right. So he was kind of like Jay's saying, supposed to be that hedge in case a couple of guys do get a little older. They're not quite as good as they have been in the past, which has been a Hall of Fame caliber. Then you're adding Kyle Tucker, and when you put all that together, it's still the same as it always has been before you had Kyle Tucker. So,
absolutely.
Okay, last thing here. Comment. I keep saying last thing. I keep lying about it. We'll get out of here. But somebody's going to have to convince me why Hesson Kim isn't the everyday starting shortstop for this organization. Somebody convince me why I'm wrong there.
I'm with you, and the reason why I'm with you on that is because what you've mentioned even last year is the workload that Mookie's getting there at shortstop. There's way more work, not just during the game, pre-game, all the stuff that he has to go through to be good there. It's not just during the game. Yeah, he gets more traffic.
I think he could show up at second base, never even take a ground ball, and be Gold Glove caliber. I'm serious.
No, I totally agree. Shortstop is a demanding position because it's always been that way. You get more traffic. Back in the old days, they didn't care if a shortstop hit 220. If he's good defensively, hell, he'd play all the time. But, there's not many Bud Harrelsons and those guys are walking around anymore, those little skinny guys who played short. Mark Belanger. Let me throw some names out there. Roger Metzger. Let me go with some, all these little skinny guys who hit 140 and nobody gave a shit because they never made an error. But
so you were the skinny guy with lots of long hair in high school, right? Now you're the old guy with that's fat and bald. Is that how this has worked?
Not skinny. Now,
okay.
Got through high school. Yeah, I had long hair and was skinny. Now, I was an infielder until I made 4 errors in one game, and Max Townsend said, you look a lot better in left field, and put Jeff Chappell third, and Chappell did a great job there. So
absolutely.
And I enjoyed it. I took a lot of one
of your best friends in the world told me that joke the other day. That's where I got that from. Chuck.
Yes, Chuck Hayes. That's my boy. That guy was lost. You mean they got Chuck, who's lost 270 or 80 pounds? Whatever the hell he's lost. That guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can talk crap now. That's good. I love that guy.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. You got any final thoughts before we get out of here? This has been a lot of fun.
This has been a lot of fun. I love you, Case, and your family, and I've been thinking about you guys a lot. And of course, I love our Dodger dogs. I don't give a damn if there's only 5 of them out there. They're with us. They're us. We're all in here for the same reason, loving our Dodgers. And it's always a great day to be a Dodger. I can't wait till they play again. Playing against the Cardinals, one of the top other organizations in the history of Major League Baseball. You got Yankees, Cardinals, and Dodgers. That's about as good as it gets. So, when the Dodgers play either one of those two, it's always a great time and looking forward to it. It's good to have a day off tomorrow. The players can hang out with the family, go play golf, whatever the hell they do on their day off, and then get ready to play the Cardinals. So, great to be with you. Always great to be here with the Dodger Dogs. And I guess we'll be back on Friday maybe if you'll have me back. I love
Absolutely.
it. All right, man.
And by the way, the Giants suck. They're 13-16, led by Tony Vitello, and they're in last place. It's a great day to be a Dodger.
Yes, sir.